Well, hey, welcome back. What we doing today? Well, I got this foreign thingamajigger in the garage. Well, yeah. Gotta do brakes all the way around it. So, yeah. That's today's video. 2018 Mazda CX question mark, I don't know, 5, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, something like that. CX-5. All-wheel drive. Gonna be doing brakes all the way around it today. A little different from my normal content of, Chevrolet stuff. Maybe a little Ford stuff. I guess what I'm saying is it's a little different from the American stuff that I normally work on. But it's just how it goes. I'll work on anything because it keeps me, my brain, it keeps it fresh. Better? Something like that. Gooder? Sure. So a little bit different on how I'm going to do these brakes. I'm going to kind of do them on the cheaper billfold, if you will. We're going to pull the tires off, and we're going to pull the rotors off, and we're going to take the rotors in to get turned, and then throw a set of pads on and put it back together, and hopefully there's nothing sticky on the inside. I will rebuild stuff if needed with, psh, 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 if needed. Also, slide pins, guides, anything like that, are going to get cleaned up, ground down with a wire wheel and lubed up. But kind of little different change of pace here today. Already went ahead and got the brakes brake pads I should say ordered, because I didn't do anything with the rotors like I mentioned. So Rock Auto. Sweet. I always get a magnet. I love magnets. I should show you guys my magnet collection here. Let me show you really quick. May or may not have just a little bit of a problem with ordering parts from Rock Auto. Go ahead and put that there. No, but for real, I got Rebestos. I'm a fan. Used them on a lot of stuff and they hold up. And these are like the premium line that they had. There's a part number right there for fronts and the backs. So front backs shipped out the door. I had a 5% discount coupon because you get those when you order off Rock Auto. $58. And they're the top of the line. Like best ones you can get. $58 front rear pads shipped. Checked out O'Reilly's. Like O'Reilly's, but the mid-grade ones, those were $60 in itself for just rears. Yeah. So shop around. Pays. eBay, Rock Auto. Usually eBay you get free shipping, but Rock Auto's they've never let me down. So I'm going to start by getting this thing in the air and getting these tires zipped off. Now that the wheels are off, car's jacked up, here's why I'm going through and just doing a set of pads. You can see the pads they're getting kind of thin. They weren't really getting hot, but they were starting to pulse a little bit going down the road. There's actually quite a bit of meat left on the rotors. Of course, they're gonna take their little gauge and see. This one's actually it's the worst of them. Let me get some light in there. You can actually see on the back side here, it's grooved up pretty good. We've got this heat shield that we'll have to contend with, but I can feel with my finger right up in here, it's got quite the groove. And that's because there's basically no pad left on the inside, which it's fine. It happens. So we're going to go through, we're going to knock this off. It looks relatively simple. We are going to have to pull the whole this bracketry off to get the caliper off. And then we'll go ahead and clean up any of this corrosion and grit and grease and whatnot. But yeah, then we'll get them in and go from there. So here's the front. Take a look at the back here. Back's relatively the same. We have our provision right here for the electronic parking brake, which I'm not going to get too much into because I'm not taking it apart. But we will get in here and knock this off, knock any of the other junk off. But this back one's actually pretty decent. It's not too grooved up. You can see right back in here, maybe. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get this taken off, both sides cleaned up, and get them in. So your rears are pretty simple. Pull the caliper off. You have 14 mil, or maybe it was half inch. Half inch, take the slide bolts off, and then your caliper, of course, is tuck it out of the way. And then you have a 14 mil bolt, two of them, one down there, one up here, and this actually comes off from the spindle part. And once you get that all off, then your bracketry for your caliper will come off, and you can clean it up as you need to. Pretty common anymore. It's got these little tabs in it for gliding the brake pads back and forth. And you can sometimes reuse these if they're in not too bad a shape, or replace them. Just depends on your application at the time. Done both. We'll see what we get into today. So once you get those two back ones off, it's just a matter of taking it down and off. And I actually like to label those with a paint marker so I know if they get spun around which side they go off of. Okay, so I labeled this one RR for right rear. Do whatever you guys want to do to keep it straight. So now to pull the rotors off, you see we got corrosion on there and they're not coming off easily. If you don't know, then you're about to learn. Most of them have this provision now set up, and it's pretty simple. I'll take some penetrating oil, throw it in there, take a bolt, and you simply just thread it into the spot there. It'll go. Make sure it's the right one. There we go. That should be 13 mil / half inch. So once you do that, go ahead and tighten it on, and what it's going to do is it's going to pop that rotor off. Let's see if we can do one-handed. Like so. And then it simply just comes off like that. You can see where the bolt was pushing and where it's in there. What it does is it just pushes against the wheel bearing here and breaks up any of the dirt and corrosion or rust, whatever. So I am going to go ahead and clean up these hubs, make sure they're nice and purty. Maybe psst, psst, with some stuff. And go from there. Everything else looks pretty decent. I'll go through if you're really adamant and wanting to do a decent job. Make sure the brake shield's not rusted off and bad. And if you need to change out a wheel bearing, now would be the time to do a wheel bearing. Grease up any zert fittings, you know, maintenance stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock off the front ones and show you. But on the back side of this, it's just oofda. That'll throw a wobble into your wheel too if you got an issue, but you can see the pretty deep grooves in this one. Hopefully they can mill it down. Hopefully there's enough meat left on it. We'll see. Keeping track at home, the only tools I'm using: 3/8 inch ratchet, 1/2 inch 13 millimeter socket, normal, 14 millimeter socket, normal breaker bar, and then I got a 14 mil extension just to give myself some leverage on that. Flathead screwdriver, a little bit of coil for my penetrating wheel, paint marker, yeah, and actually using a Harbor Freight Pittsburgh kit to do this. This is my wheel puller kit. The only reason I broke this out is because I got my assorted bolts that I use to pop that rotor off in there, right there. So that's the only thing I'm using out of there. You got one laying around, use one laying around. But simple hand tools get the job done. One more socket that you'll need to get for the fronts. Had to get a 17 mil for the bracket there. A little beefy, to be expected. Okay, the front same as the rear, just instead of the 14 mil for the bolt to hold the bracket for the caliper on it, was a 17 mil. Same thing, had to just use the bolt there to pop it off. But I'm gonna go get these things turned and be back. All right, got the rotors back from being turned. Not too bad. It didn't knock off that rust in there like I wanted it to, but hey, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. 15 bucks a rotor versus, you know, brand new ones that are triple that. Save some money. So, can't find my teat poker for the wire wheel. I'm gonna take just my brush and clean up the best I got with what I can do and get the caliper somewhat cleaned up. Maybe throw a coat of paint on it. But frustrating when you can't find your parts you're looking for. Oh well, you just make do like always. It's gonna be nice that the new brake pads come with new hardware. So I'm gonna get all this stuff scrubbed down, painted up, and I'll get those installed and back. Okay, so front calipers are squished in, painted. Moved on to the back. If you go to work on your rear brakes, you're going to notice that you can't compress them, and that's because these cars have a rear electronic brake, this motor in here. And how you disengage that is you have to put the car in what they call maintenance mode. I already went ahead and did this just to show, just to see if it was going to work right. And it did. And I wasn't recording, of course. So to do it, you turn the car on. Push it twice until it's on. Next thing you're going to do is push your gas pedal down all the way to the floor and you'll feel it click. Hold it down. While you're holding it down, take your parking brake, push it all the way down. And with your other hand, quickly push your start-stop button 3 times. Then you can let go of your parking brake or your gas pedal. And when you do that, you're going to hear those back motors disengage. You'll hear them spooling out. Also, if you did it right, you're going to get this brake light flashing on your dash, and then your parking light will be flashing on auto hold parking brake block. That'll be flashing, okay? So yeah. So when you're ready to do it, you simply just get out, and now you should be able to compress your calipers in to put your pads in. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and once I get these compressed all the way in, I'm going to go do the reverse process, and we're going to get everything put back together and make it work. Well, there's a bummer. This rear caliper is seized up. Got the rest of everything else taken care of. Put back together. even the driver's side rear, pretty simple. Just this passenger side rear is being pain. Actually went and bought that tool because I didn't have any. $8 at Harbor Freight. They couldn't get the what I had in there to try to clamp it down, but didn't work. Pulled the electronic brake part off, nothing. It's seized, so got a new one on order. So I'm kind of stuck in the water until that gets in. Well, there it is. Brakes. Got a new caliper on this side. Got those rotors turned. Pads new in the front. Doing well. Doing really well. Also noticed that he ended up having to recharge the AC system, and that's because the condenser in the front there was low, so I don't know why. Oh, I got a new chip right there. Whoops. Anyway, that's gonna wrap this video up. Thanks everyone for watching. Like, subscribe. See me working on a little bit something different than a Chevy. Working on a Mazda. So, thanks everyone. See you next time.